What's up, everybody? Oracular Music with a quick video today. Just wanted to jump on and mention how we had gotten our bounce to sample back for sequences with 3.7. So we were missing that since 3.0. I was missing it anyway. I know it's pretty trivial, but it was super useful for me. I used it quite often. Now, there were workarounds for that, of course. You could use your sampler to resample the internal and get it that way, or you could use your save and audio mix down, save it to a drive where you could, go and load it up. But anyway, I didn't prefer those methods, mostly because the bounce to sample for sequences goes straight to the sample pool, and it could work with it right away. I didn't have to go looking for it or saving it to other places or anything like that. There were a few other workarounds, like I said, when we were missing that, but none as efficient as that, as far as I know. So why that is handy for me is I use that. Let's say I have a sequence here. I could mute the drums and then bounce everything other than the drums. I did this often for intros. An example is, let me just bounce that to sample this sequence without drums. Okay, so straight to our sample pool and browse, sample assign. And there it is. So from there, I would just create a program specifically for bounces, because you could get into bouncing out several sequences and putting effects on them for variations and things like that. So I do create its own program. So yeah, I will stick that bounced sequence to the pad right here. And we have that. So for intros specifically, I would quite often come into the parametric EQ. And I really like the radio effect. I use that on intros because it has less fidelity for when the beat drops in. It has more punch, or perceives to anyway. So it sounds something like this. One, two, three, four. Right, so I do things like that quite often. So you could argue that you could just use automation. There's so many other ways to do it. That's just the way that I've grown accustomed to doing it. You can record that one pad, which is now a one shot, essentially. Make a new sequence out of that. You could load that bounced sample or bounced samples to multiple pads in a program and add a whole bunch of different effects and put mute groups on them and come up with all sorts of fun. So bounce to sequence in 3.7 is back. Super stoked about it. Glad to see it. That's about it for today. Peace.